That's the beginning part of the song Grace I Am by Moses Efret, and be rest assured that you will get to hear the rest when we do round up this interview. But first of all, we have the singer himself in the studio with us today. Hey Moses, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
Great. Now, let's get into your background when it comes to gospel music. Where did you pick up your passion, and how has that led you to where you are today?
First of all, I grew up from a Christian background, Christian family. So I've always been doing music. So back in the days, I was a music director in my local church. So I used to lead praise and worship and prepare my choir for service on Sundays. And 2013, I released my first album. So that was really the first time I came out, let the whole world know, besides Moses Efret, the Nollywood actor. So that was the first time people got to know, about, the musical aspect of me. So he started then, officially 2013, and that was my first album, Not My Time, and now I just released a new album called Unlimited Grace.
Interesting. Now you started your journey from church, RCCG to be precise.
Yes.
How has that been for you? Now we find that oftentimes a lot of singers start from church and then at some point they leave church and they start into secular music. Have you ever been at some point tempted to leave gospel?
It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. So, I mean, saying this to the people watching, so I mean, that's true. A lot of people start, from church, and before you know it, they're in the mainstream. I don't think I want to do that. I want to stay gospel, gospel today, gospel tomorrow, gospel forever.
Why? That's great.
Because first of all, I think it has to do with my belief, my values. So I just believe that it's the little I can do for God, for the things that He's done in my life. It's just to sing His praises, worship, and just lead people in worship all over the world.
Now, you mentioned that you transitioned from a Nollywood actor to being a gospel singer. Do you think this has overshadowed your Nollywood career, or are you still pursuing roles in Nollywood?
Well, I believe once you're an actor, you will always be an actor. So I still do movies. I may just not be as active as I used to be because of other priorities and, of course, my music and other things. So, yes, I did not transition. I only added music to it. So I'm still an actor, and I'm also a recording gospel artist.
And we find oftentimes that people like to veer off into different things. Yoruba people say, "Onokon waja," which means one way. I think one road does not lead to the market. So people do different things.
Absolutely.
So are we expecting to become a movie director at some point, or a producer? And if yes, what are the other things we should expect from you?
Well, producing, yeah, I'm already doing that.
Movies or music?
Movie.
Oh,
I've produced a couple of movies. Red Rose, we shot in the States, is not out yet, and another one that we're still working on. So I believe, we have the talent, and if God has given you a gift, I mean, if you pass on, someday He's gonna ask you, I gave you multiple talents, why did you use only one? So if I have more than one talent, why not? I can as well use it.
So how do you balance being multifaceted with your private life?
Oh, well, I try to manage it. I try to prioritize, things based on what is a top priority at that moment.
Okay, now lately we've been seeing a lot of collaborations between gospel artists, quote unquote, and secular artists. We've had Nikki Lauye and Sheyi Shea.
Right.
We've had a couple of them.
Yeah.
And are we expecting to see you do a collaboration with a secular artist soon? If yes, who and who?
Well, I wouldn't say soon. And first of all, let me backtrack a little bit. I do not have any problem in featuring a secular artist. I mean, a gospel artist by name, I can't remember the name. She featured Nicki Minaj. What's her name again?
Yes, I forgot her name.
Tasha Cobbs.
Tasha Cobbs, yes, and she was being blasted for having done that.
She was being blasted. So I believe that if you get those guys to do gospel songs, and you never can tell, you may just be planting a seed. So that's the way I see it. So someday, why not? I like to feature Banky W. Because of his style. Another person I would like to, feature someday Mr. P of P Square. You know, I mean, somebody that is really not too religious, you know, a mainstream person that, you know, nobody would really expect that they would do gospel. I mean, somebody, you know, out of that kind of settings.
Now, let's also speak about challenges. What challenges do you face being a gospel artist, given the fact that gospel music is not necessarily mainstream music in the 21st century?
Well, it doesn't bother me much, but I admit to that it is a challenge because I go to radio, TV station, and like, we play gospel music only on Sunday morning, maybe early in the morning. And like, okay, so that alone is a challenge, but I just, myself, I believe I'm speaking for the rest of gospel artists as well. We do not let that define us, so we still try to push as much as we can and get the word out there. And I mean, we still have YouTube is there. A lot of people, you know, subscribe to our channels, and they're being blessed around the world. So if we can do what we do the same way, despite the limitation, we're still able to, you know, get our songs out there. People that are non-Nigerians, they still listen to our music, you know, around the world. So I believe it's a challenge, quite all right, but God has given us the grace, the wisdom to be able to still impact lives around the world.
All right, now at the start of the show, Leila and I had spoken about self-validation. We've talked about how we've been able to encourage ourselves, you know, and basically build up our self-esteem for ourselves.
Right.
Now, gospel music is fantastic, but we have a long way to go. Right. When you hear the Davidos and the Wizkids, they're not gospel artists. And I'm pretty sure that you would like your music to go that far or
Absolutely.
even farther. Every gospel artist also wants that. Absolutely. Yes, we also have gospel artists whose music has gone far, but it's not like the norm usually. So on the days when you're a bit discouraged about, you know, you feel like you wish your music could go farther, but it hasn't gotten as far as you wanted, how are you able to pick yourself up?
Patience. I believe for every individual, you have your desert experience where you just, you know, keep doing what you're doing, and at the right time, you know, comes a day where you meet your Goliath and the whole world will celebrate you. So I believe even if we are not there yet, we are almost there.
Okay.
So, and I'll keep being patient and I'll wait for that day.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Oh, in 10 years' time, definitely I see myself being more of impacting more lives. First of all, impacting more lives, and I'll see myself my music being played all around the world, people being blessed, other artists singing my songs. You know, that is something that, you know, will give any artist a pleasure, especially gospel artists, when other gospel artists are using your songs, you know, to sing or minister anywhere else. So that it's going to be a great fulfillment for me. So in the next 5 years, I see myself being more of a mentor, and I mean, I'm already mentoring a lot of people, doing more of that, and keep doing, you know, what I do and impacting lives more and more and more.
We look forward to more mentors and more people impacting lives, because the world and Nigeria definitely needs more of that. Before we let you go, let's talk about your new album. What's the name of your new album and how can people get it?
It is called Unlimited Grace, and you can get it on anywhere they sell music online, on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, name it.
How many songs are there?
I have 17 songs.
What?
Yes.
Congratulations.
That's a lot. Well done.
Yes. 17 songs. I just wanted to do something, you know, really good, and all of them, you know, they're well done, and we invested so much into it because I wanted the best. I just believe that, okay, for the fact that it's gospel music doesn't mean we should just, you know, do it anyhow. It has to be excellent.
Yeah. Well, Moses, honestly, thank you for coming here, sharing your story and speaking to us about why gospel music is going to go further and further and further. How can people find you on social media?
Instagram, I'm Moses Efret. I spell the Efret. People mess it up a lot of times. So it's Moses, like Moses in the Bible, M-O-S-E-S. Efret is spelled E-F-R-E-T. Moses Efret on Instagram. On Twitter, just turn it around, Efret Moses. And on Facebook, Moses Udeme Efret. Okay,
thank you so much for being here. Nigeria, let's check out the rest of Great I Am, Moses Efret's single and video. And after that, Olive and I will take Today in History.
To enjoy more of these our Ubunga videos when you just watch, Press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love her.